Show me what daddy likes. Right there.
Because it means I get to kill you again.
That's it. Let's see the goodies. Give me the goodies.
Babe! Did you just... What's going on over there? What are you looking at?
Nothing.
Really? Porn? You're looking at gay porn again? You really need to learn how to control yourself.
Sorry. I have gas. G.A.S. Otherwise known as Gear Acquisition Syndrome. First coined in music as the unrelenting urge to buy and own instruments and equipment as an anticipated catalyst of creative energy and bringer of happiness. The urge is directed by the belief that acquiring another instrument will make one a better player. But G.A.S. is just as relevant for indie filmmakers, corporate shooters, and anybody looking to level up their filmmaking skills. And if we're being real, we're probably all guilty of suffering from it. I mean, isn't that one reason you watch this channel? Did you perhaps find me through my reviews of the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro and its accessories? Have you ever looked at a piece of film gear and said, if I just had that piece of equipment, if I could get that one thing, it's gonna solve all my problems? Well, that's G.A.S, my friend. And the truth is, you might be right. There are many pieces of filmmaking equipment that have the potential to improve your filmmaking, but the problem with G.A.S is there is no end to it, because there's always going to be a better piece of equipment to buy, a newer camera, a nicer lens. There's always going to be something else you need, and there's always going to be a new improved version of that thing you already have. What this leads to is a continuous cycle of purchasing new things and replacing old things, a constant drain on your resources, and the buying of equipment that realistically you probably don't always need. Gear acquisition is like Christmas and birthday for grown-ups. We all remember that feeling when we peel open a new present and the dopamine kicks in and we see that shiny new toy. We feel good. We feel happy. Our life is complete, except this present to ourselves is not just a toy. It's something cool we can use when we make our movies. It's justifiable. It's gonna make our films better. It's an investment. Who cares if you can't really afford it? It's an investment. Who cares if you don't know how to use it? Investment. Who cares if you already have something that does pretty much the same thing? Investment. Guys, how many times do I have to tell you I'm investing in my filmmaking career? Why are you chopping up my credit card? This is so unfair. God! And to play devil's advocate, the truth is we do need to buy new equipment throughout our career. And we do need to keep things current relative to the industry standards. And so we need to strike a balance. We need to differentiate between good G.A.S and bad G.A.S. I think there are a few important questions you can ask yourself when trying to regulate your G.A.S. Is this a want, or is this a need? I know that sounds simplistic, but clearly identifying this one thing will help you greatly in making informed purchases that you will truly benefit from. For example, I would say a 35mm lens is an essential purchase for any serious filmmaker. It's versatile. You can use it for wide shots, medium shots, and close-ups. So you probably need a lens or a zoom lens that covers that focal length because you'll use it all the time. This is a necessity, a need. On the other hand, I purchased an 85mm lens prior to filming a new documentary that I have in post-production. I bought this lens because I wanted to have the ability to shoot really tight close-ups. The key word here being want. Ultimately, I used the lens only a couple of times during filming and didn't use any of the shots I filmed with it. I found it just wasn't practical in the space I was filming, and that several of my other lenses, such as my 50mm and the 35 lens, could do just as good a job in most instances but give me more options. I wanted the lens. I didn't need it, and I ended up selling the lens not long after. How often will you really use it? And what is the ROI? Return on investment. Ask yourself honestly, how much use will I get out of this new piece of gear? We've all seen the popularity of gimbals online. I was excited by the idea of a gimbal and purchased the Zhiyun Crane 2. I would no doubt be pulling off 10-minute one-ers in no time. In the space of owning the gimbal for 2 years, I used it on 2 projects. The reality was, I never needed it for any of my freelance work, and personally, my filmmaking style meant that I never wanted to use it in my own projects. If I was being honest with myself, I could have come to that conclusion before buying and wasting that money. Have your clients asked you to film with a drone? Or do you just want to get a shot of you walking along the beach looking cool? You will find in the filmmaking world there is a lot of specialist equipment that seems like it will broaden and expand your skill set and get you more work just by purchasing it. But if you don't really work in that specialized area and there is no demand from your clients for you to use it, then it may just sit on the shelf. Don't buy something expecting to charge more only to find there is no demand for your new purchase. Do you already have something that can do the same job just as well? The YouTube community is centered around touting the newest and best thing, the latest and greatest. Every tech review glorifies G.A.S, and it can be easy to convince yourself that it's always time to upgrade. But do you really need to? Is the item you're buying going to give you real, tangible, noticeable improvement? Or do you just want it because it's new? I love looking at and purchasing lenses. I'd love to get a set of ridiculously expensive Cine Primes, but I already have a Sigma 14mm, a Sigma 18-35, and a 50mm lens. Realistically, these focal lengths cover 95% of what I need for any job, and for any big filming scenario, I can hire a set of Cine Primes. Yes, these lenses will give me better image quality, but the truth is, the lenses I have can give me beautiful images. My clients are never going to notice the difference. I already have tools that will do the job just as well, so I probably shouldn't buy a new lens kit. Even though I want them so much, damn it, I just want them so bad!
Idiot!
Is this piece of equipment something you can use, or is it beyond your skill level? Sometimes we have to look in the mirror and be honest with ourselves. There's no point in buying a piece of equipment that you don't actually have the ability to put to good use. For example, if you've been filming with DSLR style cameras shooting run and gun with minimal lighting and you buy a Red Komodo, you're not going to instantly get cinema quality images. Red cameras require lighting gear and a specific knowledge of how to light. Otherwise, they'll look no better, and in fact possibly worse, than the content you were filming on your DSLR. Some equipment has a very steep learning curve, and if you haven't gotten yourself to that level of filmmaking, then you probably shouldn't buy it. At least, not yet. Hidden costs. Does this new piece of gear actually require 5 other pieces of gear on top of that piece of gear just so you can get it to work properly? You spot a second-hand camera cheap online. What a great bargain, you say. I can afford that, and it's such great value for money. But when you need to buy a new lens for it because none of your current lenses have the right mount, and actually you need new memory cards because none of yours are compatible, and you forgot that you need extra batteries because it only comes with one, and then cables and a camera bag, and suddenly that one new purchase turns into 10 new purchases just to get the first purchase up and running. Make sure you understand what you're signing up for. Beware of hidden costs. On the other hand, sometimes you really do need that piece of gear. G.A.S can also be good, charging more money for jobs. Will this piece of equipment give you more work? Can you up your rates if you have this piece of gear? Is this going to allow you to charge more and you know you have clients willing to pay? Then this is a good indication the purchase may be worthwhile. Leveling up. We as filmmakers are always looking to improve. New equipment can help us improve, but you have to have reached the point where you're upgrading for the right reasons. I used the Canon 5D Mark III from 2013 to 2018. I shot everything on it, including my most recent feature film. But by 2018, it was definitely starting to show its age. I was frustrated by the lack of proper sound ports on it and its form factor. Some clients were beginning to ask for 4K delivery. At that point, and by 2018, I was constantly running up against its limitations. This led to me finally upgrading to a Canon C300 Mark I, and then a Blackmagic Pocket 4K, and now a Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro. I was ready to level up because I had taken my first camera as far as it could possibly go. I was being held back by its limitations, and to unlock a higher quality of filming, I needed to upgrade. Making your job easier. Have you found yourself on a shoot needing something over and over and not having it? One of my favorite reasons to indulge in my gas addiction is practicality. A lot of these purchases are often not very glamorous. Maybe it's an extra battery. Maybe it's a new tripod plate. Maybe it's a bigger memory card. The simple, boring things are often the tools we actually find most useful. For me, a perfect example of this would be the Rode Wireless Go 2. I had a set of lav mics before this, but they constantly required battery changes midway through shoots, and they were big and bulky and hard to conceal on a talent. The new wireless Go's were compact and small and lasted 7 hours. They're easier for my talent to wear, and they're easier for me to set up and start filming quickly. I use radio mics on almost every shoot I'm on, so this upgrade made perfect sense, and was most importantly, a practical upgrade. At the end of the day, it is very easy to get caught up in the new, in the more, and in the what's next. And we fail to make the best use of what we already have. I understand that my channel might be seen as feeding your gas addiction, but I'm hoping to show you some alternative options that are going to level up your filmmaking skills without always being the shiniest, newest, or most expensive items you can buy. Which is why I recently brought a Red One cinema camera. Yes, I too cannot always control my gas. But more on this camera in another video. Next time you're thinking about indulging your gas addiction, remember the gas code and remember to ask yourself those important questions. Should you really break the seal? So let's throw it back to you. Have you made a gas purchase you regret? Drop it in the comments and we'll commiserate together. Until next time, I am the Savage Filmmaker, and I'll see you when I see you.
Ooh, what's this